Multifamily Mafia, Jordan Stanley Payne, coming to you late on Sunday night. Not gonna lie, I almost forgot that I was supposed to do a podcast for tomorrow morning, and I didn't want to screw up again. I did it one time. Not gonna lie to you, I did it one time, forgot to put up an episode, and my inbox, I've had a couple beers. My inbox blew up, and I'm gonna try to avoid that. So, I took a minute and said, well, shoot, what do we talk about? I don't know about you, but I'm a huge fan of education. I enjoy Robert Kiyosaki. I give a lot of the start to my journey as an entrepreneur. I give credit to Robert Kiyosaki. Rich Dad, Poor Dad changed my life. One of the most impactful books that I think people can read. I've read that book so many times that I think it's like just embedded in there. And no matter what I do, it's like always going through my head. Assets, liabilities, what the rich are teaching their kids that the poor and the middle class are not. So something kind of popped out to me as I was trying to decide what to talk about today, and it's a statement that Robert Kiyosaki made about understanding market trends, understanding when to buy and when to sell. So this podcast is going to be about buy and hold. If you're not there yet, or if you just don't want to hear what I have to say on buy and hold, go ahead and exit out now. I obviously switched to buy and hold because I wanted to become financially free. I wanted to become free so bad that I went after buy and hold. I mean, crazy, furiously, I went after buy and hold. From the point I decided to jump into buy and hold till the time I had my first asset, I don't know, 20-something days. Wasn't very long. I went very, very fast and not reckless, but I went hard. I bought the majority of my portfolio. I'm not a huge fan of saying how many units I have or whatever, but in this particular market, it's about 70 units. Duplexes, fourplex, 6, 10, blah, blah, blah. About 70 units I have in this one market. So the topic of the podcast is understanding markets and understanding the trend. And if you understand the trend, you can hedge against it and you can be a lot smarter than everybody else. So I bought, 70 units in my main market. I have several markets. When I bought in that market, everybody didn't believe in that market. It's one of the oldest markets in Montana. Income levels low. There's a lot of stuff going on in my market, and I was finding great deals. Owner financing, lease options, private money, all of that. What's interesting is because I've listened to Robert Kiyosaki so much, and because I've listened to a lot of other people, even more modern guys like Grant Cardone, I'm now watching my marketplace, and I've noticed, along with my business partner, that the market is radically shifted now. It is no longer viewed how it used to be viewed. There's been a couple different corrections in the market that, to be frank, really benefit me. So one of the big changes that we noticed was 2 separate MLSs combined. So it was like the most expensive market in Montana and one of the cheapest markets in Montana. The MLSs are now on the same, platform, server, whatever. Okay? So what that did was all of these rich assholes that live in the most expensive market in Montana, they now are starting to see all of these investment opportunities in my market, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $1 million cheaper than their market. And it's only a couple hours away. So what happened was now it's like a buying frenzy. People are out of control. People are spending money on deals that they never should have spent. They're saying, well, shit, it would have been $800,000 in my market, but it's only $120,000 here. It must be a great deal. They don't understand the market. They don't understand the tenants. They don't understand the cycle that the market goes through. So these guys and girls are buying up properties like crazy. So part of understanding what's going on is understanding when is a good time to buy and when's a good time to sell. Right now, for me, it's a very good time to sell. I've got fourplexes that I paid $80,000 for that are selling for $250,000. What? Everything that we do is about controlling an asset. And everything that I have done it using none of my own money. So if I bought it for 80 using none of my own money, and I've got buyers, again, on a fourplex, I've got buyers lined up at 250, what do you guys think I can do with that money? I can pay off all my debt, including private money. I can get into a bigger and a better, I can get into $1 million property now. Did you guys catch that? I got into an $80,000 fourplex using none of my own money. I've got buyers now at 250. If I do 250 after I pay off my debt, after I pay off my private money lenders, after I pay off the seller, whoever is holding the debt, I now have more private money because I've paid that individual off, and I also have a chunk of cash, tax-free by the way. Tax-free by the way if you do it right. I have a chunk of cash I can get into a bigger asset. Instead of a 40 unit, I can get into a 50. Instead of a 4 unit, I can get into a 50 unit. So everyone's asking me, Jordan, how many deals did you do in March? Motherfucker, I didn't do anything in March. I drank a lot of beer. If you're watching the YouTube video, I've got a beer in my hand. If you're on the audio, you can't see it. I drank a lot of beer in March, and I waited patiently because I don't have an ego that tells me I have to do deals when the market is wrong. I'm financially free. I don't have to do shit, man. Guys, if you can understand your market and you can watch the market trend, you will know when it's a good time to buy. You will know when it's a good time to chill out, and you'll know when it's a good time to sell. So I am in the process. I've got 3 fourplexes for sale and a 3plex that we have an accepted offer. Would they offer 180? 180. I bought it for, I don't know, dude, 50, 60, I don't remember. So got some great offers in, and right now what we're doing is we're focusing on, where does that money go? After we've paid off our private money lenders, now we have private money. Again, I don't know if you guys know this about private money lenders. They want their money working. So let's just say I owed them 50. I pay them back. What do you think they want to do with that 50 if I treated them right? So I now have all this private money, and I also have a chunk of cash. What do I do? So right now we're twofold. We're looking at our market, we're identifying what's going on, and we are looking at other opportunities both in Montana and outside of Montana. Places like, Ohio, you can buy houses for $5,000 that rent for $500, $600, $750 depending. Buy a lot of houses that way. We're looking at a couple 1031 exchanges. We are looking at doing some deals that are like closer to like $1 million, 900,000, 1.1, 1.2, and using our money as a down payment with that, using bank financing. You guys won't hear me talking about bank financing much, but I use bank financing when I can. It's a tool that, if it's available, I'm going to use it. Let's just say that. I don't want you guys to get caught up in, I just got to do a deal. Sometimes it's not a good time to do a deal. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is wait. Sometimes the best thing you can do is sell. Sometimes the best thing you can do is buy. Robert Kiyosaki, I'm gonna bring it full circle for you guys here. It's difficult for me. I'm really tired. Full circle. Kiyosaki said, whatever everybody else is doing in your market, do the exact opposite. In my market, people are buying, and it's like a bidding war. They're doing insane shit. You guys have heard me talk about my criteria. They're doing like 1/10 of that and thinking it's a good deal. It's not a good deal. My main market, for anybody that doesn't know, it's called Butte, Butte, Montana. It's one of the oldest communities. At one point, it was the largest city west of the Missouri? I don't remember. One of the two. It was a copper mine. Still is a copper mine. So at one point there was like 100,000 people there. Now there's like 33. A lot of real estate. A lot of real estate. It's a very poor community now. It wasn't like that before. It is now. There is a great college, and there's still a mine, and a very large company came in, I don't know, 3 years ago. They put their corporate office there. So there's a little bit going on, but what people don't understand is like the income to rental rate. If you're gonna buy and hold, you've gotta be aware of it. So I see these people, these rich motherfuckers coming in. They're like, okay, I'm gonna bump the rent from 500 to 975. So we've got, call it 100 people do that, right? Most of these people are poor. It's a very low income area. So yeah, they can fill their units eventually. They're going to have a lot of vacancy. Guys like me, guys like my partner, we're patiently waiting. We're holding, hold, because it's not going to be long before all of these people that just bought, I have a list of all of them, by the way, they're going to be screwed. They're not going to be doing well because they don't understand the market. They're simply buying in there because they think it's sexy, it's popular right now. Whatever everyone else is doing, do the opposite. Understand what's going on in your market. Understand that there's different trends up and down and consistent that happen all the time. If you're a wholesaler, this podcast was primarily buy and hold. If you're a wholesaler, understand the hot parts of town. Understand what people want, and then go find it for them. If you're buy and hold, man, you've got your finger on that pulse, and you're checking it out. Man, heart rate's going up, motherfuckers. Heart rate's going up. People are getting excited. People are getting fired up about this market. It might be a good time to sell and roll into a more consistent market. Guys, I appreciate you. I apologize. I almost forgot about this. I've had a couple beers. You could probably tell. My bad. Hopefully you guys still got some value out of this. Appreciate you, and I will be back on Friday. So you guys know this podcast is going to take a different direction here shortly. I'm going to be bringing on people everywhere from new to intermediate to probably just new and intermediate. Not going to lie to you. And the whole podcast episode will be me helping them for 30, 40 minutes and getting them on track, helping set up their business, helping give them clarity. And by doing that, you guys are going to find a relational aspect to what they are doing. It's not going to be every single episode, but I'm going to try to do, 2 or 3 a month at least, and get people going in the right direction. There's a lot of bullshit out there. A lot of bullshit. Until next week, we'll see you guys.